Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Nerds and thugs working together. And this podcast was sponsored by one of my most generous supporters, James. I'll say James W. Yeah, brother, I know you said you don't mind your name being put out there, but some folks out here want some Bama shit, man. So, you know, I don't want them messing with you, right? But now James said he wanted me to approach that subject because James said he's a self-proclaimed nerd. He said he was a nerd coming up. Yet he didn't have any problems with the thugs, you know, the Pookies and Ray Rays. You know, which is a different narrative than a lot of cats do have. A lot of cats had some problems with them. Of course. I mean, that's probably the genesis of a lot of the animosity now. But this dude didn't. And in fact, I've done a video before where I said there's a lot of dudes who were into nerdy stuff, but they didn't have any problems with the thugs in the neighborhood. In fact, the thugs in the neighborhood would protect them. I mean, I know of cases where the thugs in the neighborhoods even said they would get money together to send somebody to college. You know, it all depends how you cool, because really, and I'll just say this, because I was one of those type of cats, right? I was one of those type of cats, right? I wasn't no bad boy in the neighborhood. Now, I always joke and say it's like this. Yeah, they did all their stuff, but somebody had to count their money. I was the accountant. Right? But you got a lot of dudes like that. And, you know, he had a good point because he said both the nerds and the thugs can get something from each other. Right? And he said, you know, as black men, because, you know, this is where the main issue comes in. We the main people like saying, yeah, they're a bunch of thugs. They Pookie and Ray Ray. You know, they doing this. They destroying the community. But then who's working with them? Are you working? Are you dealing with them? And I know some people say, well, that ain't my job. You don't have to, but look at it like this. And this brother James pointed out. You know, all the stuff that's happening with black men out here, we can't afford to allow ourselves to be divided. Because we getting it on all corners. We getting it in all corners. In fact, a young man, one of my inner circle, had pointed out to me that somebody had been recently lynched in Charlotte. Lynched. But we arguing over some Pookie and Ray Ray and stuff. And I'm like, dude, even though black men ain't the total focus right now, but it's still, we catching hell. And you think any enemy of a black man, you think they making a differentiation between Pookie and Ray Ray and Point Dexter? If you do, you're very naive. You know, I know there's some people out here saying, well, if you got a suit on, they won't, please. They might hate that shit more. In fact, you got some people, enemies of black men, and they could be women, sometimes our own women. That's another conversation. You know, some white nationalists or whatever. Shoot, they'll hate that man. They'll come harder against that dude in a suit than they will the dude with his pants hanging off his ass. They'll hate that more. The intellectual black man will catch it more. So don't be thinking, yeah, I'm not like him. They say, no, they hate your motherfucking ass more. They were, in fact, I've known of dudes I knew they were like some straight up white nationalists and stuff. They get along just fine with that little trifling Pookie and Ray Ray type. They being friendly and everything. Some even give them jobs. But you an intelligent bruh? You got this suit and tie? Shoot, they more worried about that. In fact, I'll put it like this. Here's something, because you know I faced everything. I've told people I used to sell books at this like vendor's market, flea market, right? I caught an indirect threat from a Klansman. He ain't get in my face, but he talked to another brother in there, and that brother came to me. And I said, okay, he sent his message. You know, I ain't go nowhere, and what the message sent was, They don't care about like some black men killing themselves in the street. They don't care about that. They don't give a shit about Pookie and Ray Ray. They care more about somebody like me who's selling knowledge. Yeah, they saw the books I had on my table. In fact, some whites there thought I was a Muslim, a black Muslim, because I had some hardcore shit. They more worried about that. Trust me. So for some intellectual type of dude who is a greater threat to the system, thinking, oh, well, it's Pookie and Ray Ray and then jumping all that. That's bullshit. Both sides got to work together. See, I'm going to tell you how it works. And this is how nations work. They got the intelligence, the intelligentsia. They figure out the plans and everything. But then they still need the soldiers to make shit happen. And that's how it needs to be with the nerds and the thugs. In fact, I think about this. It's actually an anime, manga. It's a manga. It's called Sanctuary, right? One of my favorite ones. If you see, if you check out maybe the pictures, like the thumbnail I use for this channel and also for my Deep Thought channel, right? And zoom in, you might even see it on my bookshelf. And Sanctuary was interesting because it was about two young men who decided they wanted to take over Japan. One did so through politics, so he was the Poindexter, right? The other one did so through the Yakuza, right? The Japanese underworld, right? But they were working for the same goal. And in fact, there was a character in the book that remarked those two could have switched places. You got the same goals, but you got to work together. People got to get off of that thing, right? And like I said, growing up, man, all the thugs, Pookie and Ray Rays, they were cool with me. Now I know there's some detractors out there that say I'm just a polished Pookie. You say, nah, I just know how to talk to people. I don't look down on them. In fact, if you're a true intellectual, intelligent black man, you supposed to be leading anyway. Now, how you leading if you the general? How you leading if you not reaching out to, or at least trying to be on civil terms with the intelligence? I mean, with the lower class ones, or quote unquote lower class, right? You still need you still might need to lay out a body or something. You still need stuff done. And plus, you can inspire them. You know how many dudes who were on that Pookie and Ray Ray thing I inspired? I remember I did that in college. Because at my the university I went to, because I know some of y'all don't think I got a degree, St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, mainline. Unfortunately, just fired their basketball. Well, we'll see with that, but they just fired their basketball coach, right? I remember I started when I was a freshman there. We had a bunch of Pookie and Ray Rays working in the cafeteria, Now, one of them, he was gay. He was kind of funny with me because his fine Redbone and stuff was always sitting next to me and stuff, real friendly. He was looking jealous. And I remember the woman said, she said, yo, he going to beat you up. I said, he ain't going to beat me up. All right? Me and him got to be good friends. Now, if I pointed to somebody and said, hey, this dude messing with me, boom. In fact, in college, we had some hardcore white nationalist types. But we kept them under control because all of us were cool with the so-called Pookies and Ray Rays. So while we in class or something, shit was kept peaceful because they had our backs. And the Pookie and Ray Rays in the neighborhood had our backs. Right? And, even inspired some. I remember one dude like that, man, I always had my head in the books. He said, yeah, man, I see you always reading something. I said, yeah, man, get that knowledge. All of a sudden, I saw this dude, he picking up books and everything. Right? Instead of like that antagonism, both sides can get something. And plus, one thing with the Pookie and Ray Rays, they can help the intellectual types. One thing with them, Pookie and Ray Rays are very social. They're very social because if you anybody who out in the streets know the best survival mechanism, the best way to navigate is not having some guns or talking shit, but just being able to read people and socialize with them. You can diffuse a lot of shit just with a well-timed, hey, what's up, man? Seriously, anybody who spend any time in the streets can tell you that. Biggest thing you need to be doing is being social so you can get something. Both of y'all can get something. A nerd and a thug can get something from each other. Right? And especially with black men, we can't be tripping over we jealous of them. That's both sides. For the more Pookie and Ray Rays who got some against the more intellectual type, educated types, man, y'all need to let that go too. Both sides need to let that bullshit go because, trust me, you got forces out there who are not making a differentiation. And they just see your black skin. They don't give a fuck you got a nice haircut or if you got tattoos. So, that's all I got to say about that. So, I'll get back with y'all later. Peace.